up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian. Matt, Kevin, what's up, fellas?
What's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
How we doing? Good evening.
Doing good. 5-0.
Yes,
5-0. One game at a time. That's all we need, right? Some people called it a struggle win. I call it a good old-fashioned SEC grudging match, right? Just each team just punching each other in the mouth. But hey, we're going to get into it tonight. We're going to dig into this thing, talk a little bit about what Auburn brought to the table and what the Dogs had to overcome to win that game. But first and foremost, as always, want to just touch on a few of our housekeeping tidbits. If this is your first time on the show, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give StreamYard permission to show your picture and your name so we know who is commenting on the show. We definitely want to hear from you. Please comment. Love to hear from you. Ask questions. We'd be glad to get to those questions. And additionally, we have an email if you want to be on the show or you have a product you want to promote on the show or a business. Hit us up at middlegeorgiadogpound@gmail.com. That's middle GA dog spelled like it should be DAWG pound@gmail.com. Well, guys, I don't know about you, but this guy right here saved our bacon. Thank you, Captain Bowers. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it, actually?
Yeah, it actually does.
Man, he saved our tail. Well, let's get into it, guys. Let's roll that footage, and then let's talk about this thing.
Everybody together, one deep breath.
We're all we got, we're all we need. Now, chaotic environments don't like cool heads. We got each other, and that's all we need.
Chaotic environments don't like cool heads. Everybody is together. Lean on your brother when you need him.
Lean on somebody. I just said yesterday, you can't walk out there and not feel like you might have an opportunity to do something special. People dream of opportunities like the one today.
Compose your mission! Compose your mission!
Clear in the chaos!
Focus on the mission, man!
Hey, compose your mission! Keep that card in your back pocket, you don't know when you'll need it.
I feel like people are against us, and I have an opportunity to prove people wrong.
I need you one play at a time. That play's over, I'm going to the next moment. I'm going to the next moment. And we help each other, lad. We help each other, Gabe. That's what we do. We help each other in Georgia. We love on each other. No matter what happens, good or bad, early, we're going to keep thumping these guys. Body blows! Kill shot! Compose attack. Let's go. Compose your mission. What we do.
Hostile environment for the first time. Georgia's first 4 games were all at home in Athens.
This crowd is into it. They are desperate for a win. And Dogs, coming into this football game, need to shut down this rushing offense.
And did he get in? Yeah. Across the goal line, between the hash marks, Jarquez Hunter punches it in, and Auburn has a 9-0 lead on top-ranked Georgia. Caught! Marcus Rosemy-Jack Saint. He's going to give it to Dejan. Big hole right side. He hits it hard, spins into the end zone. Touchdown, 2-yard run.
Well, great answer there by the University of Georgia.
I need you to listen to me good. Listen to me good. 10-10 start the second half. After a 10-0 run by them, you guys showed great composure, okay? Everybody in this room needs to buy in and help each other. We need each other. Let's go. Let's go. We need each other. Let it go. Let it go.
You got 20 minutes and 30 seconds. Let it go. Go back to your technique, steps, hands. Let's make sure we all in the same place. We good, bro.
He zips one to Bowers at the 29. He's caught it to the 20. He's running for the far side. John at the 10. At the 5. End zone touchdown. He got in there running. Up to throw, and he's got Bowers at the 25. Over the middle. Caught by Bowers. Just cradled in his right arm. Carson throws. There's Bowers open at the 26. Breaks away at the 20 to the 10. Angles to the pylon. Touchdown. Brock Bowers. He's had a whale of a second half.
He's him. He is him.
Snap it back to Thorne. We bring 4. Thorne rolls to his left. Throws in. It's intercepted. Malachi Starks at the 40 to the 50. Cross midfield. Jumps over a man at the 40.
Time to go home. It was a dog fight. Proposal mission complete. On to the next.
Just like we said last week, every single SEC team we play is going to bring us their best. They're going to try to punch us in their mouth. And how we respond is how we're going to succeed this year. And so far, 2 of the SEC games that we played, we got punched in the mouth, and we've responded just like we should. Come back out swinging, right? The next round. And so I told Kevin this week, I said, the thing that I'm concerned about is that we got to get better, right? We got to get better, but we got to get better faster because we can't keep taking punches in the mouth. We need to be the aggressor, punching people in the mouth and knocking people out. And we can't keep getting knocked down and then have to get back up in the next round and fight back. So what did you guys learn about week 5, Matt? What was your takeaway?
I mean, there's so many different ways we can go about and look at this game. I think, yes, we always knew Brock Bowers is our bell cow for sure, right? We know that he's the guy that we look to in times, but we also see that I think defense had to adjust. They weren't used to getting people on them like that. We have not had the issue with the run like that in forever. I was telling you guys before the show, they weren't like they were just nickel and diming us down the field. They just had a lot of big explosive plays that they don't normally have that came and helped them develop those points. And so they had to have drives. They only scored field goals off of those drives. They only scored really their touchdowns on the emotional swing, the momentum swings of the turnovers. So yeah, defense needs to step up and handle that. I don't like how our red zone defense is not as stellar as it's been in the past. But there were some moments. I mean, there were some really good moments of the guys getting in the backfield, applying pressure on these quarterbacks. But we can't continue to miss tackles. That's just some of the things I was worried about is the missing tackle stuff. But they stepped up. They had to. They stepped up really hard in this game with all the pressure I was putting on the defense. I also think our offense needs. We had a lot of guys who were out and finally came back, and they're not at full strength. So we got to think about that too. Oh yeah, these guys are back, but they're not full strength. I mean, even in your defensive, Williams coming off his sickness. I mean, he didn't practice all last week. I mean, just to say you had the flu, are you 100% the next week? No, I mean, your body's still getting back to this 100% form, and same thing with other guys. So there's a lot of things to take away. I'm just trying to keep it short and simple, I guess.
Well, Grady Darcy made a good point. He says our kicker made a huge advance from the previous weeks, and I totally agree with that. Yeah, he looked completely confident, and I hope that it continues. John Akaki says resilience, conviction, composure, and the will to win. Yeah, I totally agree with all of those statements. And keep getting commercials on my video that I was trying to show. I don't know why it keeps coming up like that, but totally agree with all of those statements. Let's see. This is Kyle Vinson. Kyle says, if we play hard first half, we slow down second. If we slow first half, we pull hard second, and we need a 50-50 game. Yeah, we need to be given 100% both quarters. I mean, both halves, that's for sure. That is for sure. Well, Kevin, how much of this game was Auburn just executing, and how much of it was us just not being ready?
I think it was probably 100% Auburn executing. They came with a great game plan. They knew what they wanted to do, and they did it. And it bodes to our team really, how they finished this game. They didn't get down. Most teams, once they got down, in the first half, it would be no coming back. But they kept plugging, and kudos to Beck on this, in this game, man. He didn't give up, and I believe this is his game where he steps out and he shows us what he's got. In that play right there, he got hammered. Right there, you just saw it. He got hammered, and he delivered a dime for a first down. I believe this is just them getting their feet wet, man. Now, this is not the team that we've had the past 2 seasons, and everybody needs to just accept it. We had a team that was extraordinary the past 2 seasons, and it was generational, as you like to describe them. That is your terms, Brian. Is generational. This is not that team. This is a hard-nosed football team that's going to go out and go 4 quarters, and they proved that this game right here. And we need to just step behind them and accept it and push them forward and quit complaining about this team, man. I don't understand what the negativity is. I'm sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox here. These guys come out week after week and give us wins, hard wins. And I don't think anybody on this page that can go out and do what these guys do. These guys have put on a show, put on a hard Georgia dogfight. I mean, that was a dogfight in Auburn, and this was an SEC hard win. They went out there on the road, got it done with a brand new quarterback. Yes, he is he's a 4th-year guy, but this is his first year in 5 years starting, and he went out there and got it done. He brought us back from being down and got us a win. And I mean, we need to quit complaining about these guys. We've gotten spoiled. We sound like Alabama fans. Chill out, man. Everybody, chill out. Enjoy the ride. We've got something special. Yes, it is not as pretty as it's been the past 2 years. Enjoy it.
Yep.
Enjoy the great games, man. These are close games. Would you rather go out and have a 65-7 win, or will you go out and see a great football game that they put on Saturday? Me, I'd rather see a great football game like that was on Saturday. That was true SEC football.
Yep, totally agree.
Yeah, I think to Kevin's point, people just need to realize, at some point, this team's going to lose a game. It may not be this year. It may be, but at some point, they're going to lose a game. We need to realize this is it's a game these guys play. It's for our entertainment and for our enjoyment, and enjoy it, because the season is too short to like over dramatize every analyzing game. Yes, ultimately, like I said from the beginning, I'm not saying it's me, but literally every game, just gotta win by 1 point.
Yep.
So I gotta do.
Absolutely.
Win by
W
who cares
W.
who cares at this point when you're ranked number 1, which is that's the thing I think someone is heavy on this team. They're not used to being number 1. They used to have to get to number 1, and they get there and they sustain it the rest of the season. But no one has ever picked them to be number 1. So they're gonna have that. So they're gonna develop. They're gonna mature, or they won't, and it'll still be a great season because we get to watch the Dogs play. It's so much better than July and August. We don't get to see anybody play.
When you got to sit there and wait for them to play.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, yes. And I said again, heavy as the crown, but man, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yep. I can tell you one thing that I'm sick of hearing is Bobo's got to go. I mean, we're second in the SEC for offensive performance right now. I think Carson Beck is leading the way. I think I think he has the best completion and most yards of any starting quarterback at UGA ever. Best completion percentage. I think I heard somebody say that for a brand new starting quarterback in the first 5 games. So those are things to be proud of. And so, there's obviously there's opportunities, things we need to work on, but hey, I'd much rather be 5-0 right now than LSU have lost 2 games already. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you think some of this is our ideas of listening to mass media too much? Because we've been told for the last 6 months that our schedule is so easy. We've got the easiest schedule, but it's funny because everybody that we're playing in the future hasn't lost a game yet. Yep. I mean, this week here is an undefeated team. We're going to play Missouri right now, who's undefeated currently. You know, so there are teams we are playing. So your schedule's only easy. You don't know how easy your schedule is until the end of the year.
Yeah.
You don't know how good your schedule is until the end of the year, and you see how everybody played out. So I think some of that stuff we should be beating everybody. Well, we are beating everybody.
Yep.
We'll just be happy they're winning.
Yep. John Akeki says the team now knows they have it. The factor that no matter what they can win, they now are a team. All teams have to find this at some point. It's a good point. I like that.
Yeah, that is a very excellent point.
Yep. He says fans are full of fear of losing, which explains most of the negativity. Let's see. Grady Darcy says, for those of us that lived through the 90s and 2010s, I think we have a more appreciation for our current situation. Yeah, totally.
Sure, man.
Totally
sure.
agree.
I mean, we went through a period there where we were just happy to get, 10 wins and get a bowl game, a good bowl game. So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah. And this is one of those games, too. I mean, I hate because we love Paul coming on the show. But these refs, man, that was something, dude. I mean, the team had 2 total penalties. Only one of them was accepted, and that was an offsides on the kickoff.
Yep.
And maybe Paul can go and have a training class for these guys.
I know, right?
I mean, dude, some of these were like that big long run, the first big long run. Our defensive lineman, I think it was Wallowers, was about to light that quarterback up, and he gets tackled from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no one's. I mean, so it's just things like that happen the entire game. The guy goes across the line of scrimmage and comes back and throws the ball. No one in the box stops it and reviews it.
Yeah.
Like what's going on? I'm confused.
I am too.
That's some things that we've got to deal with when it's not like we're beating the rest. They weren't over penalizing us that much, honestly, either. But the things that were hindering us and hurting us from moving the ball or progressing or getting tackles made and sacks and stuff or whatever it was, because they weren't calling some of these blatant calls. It was terrible.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you said it best, Matt, that you want to see Kirby just go out and just say, guys, just blitz all night, right? Like they said from Remember the Titans.
Them to gain another yard. You blitz all night. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans. Leave no doubt.
Yeah, definitely want to leave no doubt. That is for sure.
Dude, I was thinking that video in my head in like the third quarter. I was like, I'm playing this video on the little show. This is what I would be doing if I was in that huddle for real.
Yep. John Akaki says Auburn was out of shape at the end of the game. Yeah, they did look gassed. Richard Fields.
4-14.
Do I know?
I said we're 4-14. People got to play 4 quarters. I mean, ask Ohio State. They were great for 3 quarters. You got to have all. I mean, and there will be a team at some point who will have that great. Like we said, Auburn played their best game. They had 1 penalty. They played a great executed game, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to play their best game for 4 quarters.
Totally agree. Well, Richard Fields, he brought up the fact that the Auburn offensive line tackled our defensive line players on several occasions, just like you did, Matt. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. Well, one thing I was proud of, and nobody's mentioned it, I was proud that we had no pre-snap penalties in an away game. That speaks volumes to our team and to the preparation they put in to getting ready. And I think it speaks to our offensive line that they're starting to gel, right?
Right.
But there are things that we still can improve on. And I heard Tate Ratledge today talk about something that he thought that the team needed to improve on, and this really speaks to his leadership. So I wanted you guys to hear it.
I definitely want to see improvement in the run game. I'm going to take ownership for that. I haven't played up to my standard, our standard. I think that's just across the board. Is we've got to go out there with a mindset still that we're going to run the ball and not let different things affect us with running the ball. So that's one thing I'd like to see improvement of. But I think we've definitely meshed together better with the past couple weeks of practice. With Trust First going out there, there was of course bumps for him to go over, but I think he's done a really good job of getting over there, and I think Dylan's really stepped up.
You seem pretty upset about the improvements in the run game. I guess when you're falling off of blocks, or if that is the case, well, what causes that? And this particular Kentucky football team, just their physicality alone, you said it's a brand of football. What about them makes them so physical?
They strike blocks. They're really good. They come out of their hips on the line. From watching them, they don't shy away from contact. But like you said, falling off blocks, it usually comes down to bad hands and bad feet, and that's something I personally need to work on right now. And got to get that cleaned up before this week. But yes, they have a really physical football team up front. They strike blocks, and they're a straightforward football team.
I think that speaks volumes to that kid, man. To stand up there in front of in a presser and say, "Hey, I'm sucking.
Mm-hmm.
I got to fix it." And so hopefully we see that happens this week and see this team improve in our run game. That is for dang sure.
Morris played good. He came in and played well.
Sure did.
Fairchild was just getting his lunch eaten in the first half, and he came in. I'm not trying to bang on that guy. I'm just saying he has played tough the entire year. This game he just had a rough game, but they brought Morris in, and that dude, he helped us move that ball in that second half. He played very, very well.
Yeah, totally agree. Grady Darcy says, "Give us the mullet mash and run that ball." That's hilarious. John Akaki says, "As crazy as it sounds, Michael Morris, Ernest Green, and Fairchild are keys to our success." Yep. Who would have ever thought, right? Who would have ever thought? Well, guys, I had a few videos. These are kind of late to the party, to be honest with you, but I thought they were interesting, talking about some referee issues, and Paul Patrisco sent them to me a few weeks back, and I just let them slip my mind. But one of them I really wanted to show you was the game where, let's see, I think it was I'll just play it, and then we'll talk about it.
Our last play this week has created a flurry of questions, and there are a couple things we need to talk about on this play. So it's a 4th and 7 situation. The line to gain is the 44-yard line going in. Now, the quarterback breaks free, and he's going to slide feet first to protect himself near the line to gain. Now, two things. The play is dead when the ball carrier begins to slide feet first. And when he lowers his backside, that's when we consider the play dead. And the ball is spotted at its forward point when the backside is begin to be lowered. And so in this case, it's short of the line to gain. The backside begins to lower at the 45, and the ball is at least 1 yard short of the line to gain. So it's a good spot by the crew, short of the first down. But since this is 4th down, the offense didn't make the line to gain. Their series has ended at that moment. The ball's declared dead. And now subsequently, there's a dead ball foul, late hit with targeting call. And since the foul occurs after the offensive series has ended, remember it was 4th down, by rule the penalty is enforced at the succeeding spot. So the ball's going to go over to the defense and will be penalized 15 yards, but they'll keep the ball and have a 1st and 10. So it's an interesting and unusual enforcement, but it was handled properly by the crew.
Yeah, that was a weird one back in week 1. I don't know if you remember that. That was a strange. We talked about it, but Paul sent me that, and I appreciated it. So I had one more, and this one is really interesting. that he sent me. It has to do with a horse collar tackle. It's something that I never knew it was a rule, but here it is.
Play 4, we have a 2-score game with a big 4th down play deep into the 4th quarter. The quarterback's going to drop back to pass. It's got a heavy rush, and the defender yanks the quarterback down by the inside back collar of his jersey. Now, the player also raked across the face mask of the quarterback, and we don't get a clear view of this. We can't see a grab with a twist or turn. We're really blocked out. But I want to use this play to illustrate our horse collar tackle rule. Now, I received many questions on this play, and by rule, we know that a horse collar tackle is grabbing the inside back or side collar of the shoulder pads or jersey or the nameplate area and abruptly pulling down the ball carrier. But here's the other part of the rule. This does not apply to a ball carrier, including a potential passer who is inside the tackle box. We know the tackle box is the rectangular area defined by the neutral zone and 2 lines 5 yards either side of the snapper all the way back to the end line. Now, the tackle box disintegrates when the ball leaves it, but the action on the quarterback here in the tackle box is not a horse collar tackle. The Rules Committee will discuss this in the next rule cycle, but for now, this is not a foul.
That one was the most interesting that he sent me, and I was like, I've got to play that on the show. I never knew that. And so thanks to Paul Petresco, our resident SEC official, who sent that over to me. So you guys got something that nobody else has, a little bit of inside info to the rules book, and Paul's keeping us informed on a weekly basis. So I think I'm going to start including those, at least one video a week. Our insider, I'm going to call it the Petresco play, and have it in our show from going forward, just to give a nod to Paul for sending those over to us. But hey, you guys got any more final comments on Auburn? Because I don't really want to talk about that anymore.
No, I'm good.
All right, let's roll that. Let's roll the game trailer and get into Kentucky. What do you say?
Let's go.
It will not always be perfect. Something's going to happen we don't like. How are we going to respond? I know how we're going to respond because I've seen this team do it. I've seen you do it over and over and over again.
You can't walk out there and not feel like you're about to have an opportunity to do something special. People dream of opportunities like the one today.
What we do, we help each other at Georgia. We love on each other. No matter what happens, good or bad, early, we're going to keep bumping these guys.
You got to be ready for a war. And that's what kind of game this is. That's what kind of game this is. If you get your mind right for a fist fight.
I need you to prove it. I need you one play at a time.
She said we need this guy to go win this game. That gives me proposal. Whatever I call, I know y'all line it up and strike.
You only get so many opportunities to play in a stadium. Take advantage of it. Attack 60 minutes with great proposal. The people in this room are fighting. We're all we got. We're all we need. 1, 2, 3. Hey!
All right, guys, we're here. This is the midpoint of the season. This is the game that everybody talked about. Better watch out for Kentucky. And I didn't believe them. Didn't think that Kentucky would be where they are, and here they are. So Kentucky, of course, you guys know the mascot is the Wildcat. I learned something last year and just thought I'd throw it back out there. They have 2 mascots. One is Scratch. And the other one is the Wildcat. Apparently the other mascot, the Wildcat, is a little aggressive to young fans, and they can be kind of fearsome for them. And so they created Scratch to go around and be and cater to young kids, because he doesn't look as scary. So there you go. There you go.
Is there a crowd room at Kroger Field?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Oh my God.
Pretty much. Mark Stoops. So Mark Stoops is probably the longest tenured coach at Kentucky, and I think he is the second longest tenured coach in the SEC, if I'm correct, behind Nick Saban. Done a really good job there. As Kirby always says, when we play Kentucky, that is the most physical team that we play, and it's a style of football that they play, right? So he's overall 71-59. He's been 4-3 in the bowl games, and he won the SEC Coach of the Year in 2018. All right, Matt, I'm gonna let you take it over from here, my friend, and share your wisdom on the offense.
All right, so as we get started into this offense, they are the, you would think, from last week we've really pinpointed them as a rushing team, right? But technically they're only the 51st, number 51 in rushing in the entire country. So I mean that's not terrible. That's a solid team, and we'll get into why they're only the 51st ranked team in rushing. But they are overall 65 offensive team. That's the complete composite of points scored and yards gained for the offense. So I mean it's solid team. I think like we talked about already, they are a hard-nosed team. They pride themselves on the big blue wall, which is their offensive line. But as we start into it, we got their starting quarterback here, which is Devin Leary. He's a transfer from NC State. This guy was supposed to be their next big great quarterback, and I mean he was a good transfer, good solid. A lot of teams wanted him. He's not had his best year. Maybe it's because he's now coming to SEC versus the ACC defense he's seen in the past. But I mean he's a good game manager. He's had about 1,100 yards, a little bit over that this year, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So not the passing game that they were really wanting from him, but once again, still a steady, dependable quarterback for them. Not the higher ranked quarterback in our conference. I think he's 46th number rated quarterback in the country for our entire Division I. But their next one is where they really is where their big bell cow / where they really put their bread and butter in is Ray Davis. Once again, Ray Davis is another transfer. You're going to hear a lot of this as we go through this. Is another transfer. He's actually transferred. This is his third school he's been at. His first school was Temple. His next school was Vanderbilt last year, and then he's now at Kentucky. I will say last year when he played Georgia at Vanderbilt, once again, completely different kind of offense, different kind of team. He only had 29 rushing yards against Georgia last year when he played with Vandy, and he was their leading rusher last year as well in that game. I think he carried 12 times for 29 yards. So not super efficient, but once again, a completely different offensive scheme and the offensive line that he has now. This year, he's almost at 600 yards rushing. He's their leading rusher team. He's their main rusher. I mean, he has almost 3 times as many carries as the next rusher does. That's why I only pinpointed him as their main running back. He's got 8 touchdowns. He averages 7.8 yards. I'm just giving you these stats, right? Right now, I'm just giving you stats, and it's 100. He also got 146 receiving yards as well. So, but with that piece, we'll stick with Ray Davis just for one more second, though. We look at those numbers like, oh my gosh, he's number 4 in the country in rushing, but if we look at those totals, that number 600 yards, half of that came in one game, and that was last week. Before that, he was averaging about 72 yards a game. So yes, last week was an epic year for him. I mean, great for him. I mean, as I said, you remember the rest of your life, but that's not the prototypical of what he is. Now, could that springboard him moving forward? We'll see. But that's not what he does on a typical basis. So this whole fear we need to have, this guy's just going to, and he's a solid guy. He is solidly built. He's a hard runner. He just puts his head down, and he is a legit runner for sure. But he's not the guy who's going to give you 200 yards rushing every game. So let's remember that. Other teams that they played throughout this year have held him, to lesser teams have held him under 100 yards rushing. It all comes to how we tackle this guy. We cannot miss tackles on this guy. If we do, he will have a field day on us. So it is about putting bodies on us and getting back to how Georgia used to swarm to the ball. We have to swarm to the ball on this guy when he gets the ball in his hands. As we get to the wide receivers, like I said, they're not a huge passing team. There definitely is a presence of it. Like I said, they've had 1,100 yards plus on the receiving. But the three main receivers is Robinson, Brown, and Key. These guys do a fairly good job. Robinson has over 300 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns. He averages about 16 yards a catch. Brown has 251 yards with only 1 touchdown, but still pretty solid. And then Key as well has about 200 yards with 2 touchdowns, averages about 15 yards and an average with these guys. I will say out of their top 3 contributors on offense, top 3, top quarterback, top running back, top receiver are all transfers. So this mindset we have that Kentucky builds up, recruits, and builds up their players and develops their players is not 100% accurate. They are taking players from other places and making them better. We just have to show them how our defense plays and put the smack down and let them welcome them to the dog pound for real. Give it over to Kevin for defense.
You're muted, buddy.
Appreciate that, Matt. Apparently I skipped some of your slides here on your wide receivers, but I went back to your running back, and then
you did last week too. It's no big deal. I'm used to it.
Sorry, dude. Sorry, buddy.
Apparently, I'm not your brother, so I don't get all the love.
That's it. That's it.
Right. He's got me dialed in, man. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. All right. So first off, we want to go and talk about this defense. Kentucky is the number 19th ranked defense overall. They're tied with Duke and Syracuse. They allow an average of 297.2 yards per game. To put that in perspective, Georgia's offense is averaging about 481.2 yards per game. So this is going to be an interesting game to see what Georgia's offense can do against this defense. Georgia's defense itself, if I remember correctly, is ranked number 16th in the nation. So they're right there close to one another as far as defense is concerned. The first gentleman I want to talk about is Deion Walker. He is a sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan. He's 6'6", 348. He has 3 solo tackles and 2.5 sacks. And I don't want to discredit this guy. He has 14 assists. This guy opens lanes for the linebacker. That's what he does. Their strength is our linebacker core. They're going to come in and make plays with their linebackers. The 2.5 sacks alone should speak volumes about what this guy does. He's going to be a disruption in our run game and our pass game just by the havoc that he causes at the offensive line.
I heard somebody today say they dropped this guy back in coverage. I was like, what? Said he's extremely athletic. He just doesn't have a lot of stamina, so he's not an every down guy. But they dropped him back in coverage, and he is Jordan Davis-like is the way they described him.
Right. Exactly. So you're going to want to watch out for this guy. He is more of a game changer, creating lanes and opportunities for other players to make plays. As Brian was alluding to, if you remember back when Jordan Davis, his motto was 2 on me, 1 man free. That's what this guy does. He wants to create lanes for other players to make plays on the ball. So watch out for this guy to make those lanes. You may not ever hear his name called, but watch for his number to create those big plays. Second is Trevin Wallace. This is that linebacker that is getting those plays created by Walker. He has 18 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. He has 27 tackles overall this season. Uh, this guy is a baller. He's going to get after the quarterback. He's going to get after the running back. He is going to make plays wherever the ball goes, wherever the ball is. He is going to try to disrupt the offense to create those 3rd and long situations. He even will drop back into pass coverage. As you can see, he has 1 interception. That was in a pass coverage situation. He is a guy. He is a linebacker that does it all. Um, as you know, I love to wear the Nakobe Dean jersey. He is, and I will not compare him to Nakobe Dean, but he is Nakobe Dean esque. He likes to be wherever the ball is, and however he can help his team. So watch for this guy to make big plays on Saturday. And I failed to mention this is a Jessup, Georgia native. So this is a Georgia guy. So you can rest assured. I always like to highlight one of those Georgia guys that play for other teams. He wants to make his name known when he plays UGA. Our next guy is Maxwell Harrison. He is a sophomore defensive back, number 31. He hails from Michigan. He has 25 slow tackles, 33 tackles overall, 3 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and 3 passes deflected. This is a well-rounded corner. If you look, you don't expect the corner to blast all over the field and make plays. You expect that out of a safety. This is a cornerback. You're going to see him all over the field trying to make plays on the ball. Just watch for this guy. This is going to be a quarterback's nightmare as he's throwing the ball down the field, because this guy has speed. He has situational awareness. So he is going to be creating those tight coverage situations. It's going to be interesting who they match him up with as a receiver. Maybe Rosemy Jack Saint, somebody like that. And that's about it. Those are the 3 guys I really wanted to highlight on this defensive side.
What kind of before we move on to the pick'em here, what issues do you see Kentucky throwing at us that we need to be ready for? What concerns do you have, I guess, this week?
This is a physical football team. Even though the opponents that they have played don't really show that, this is a physical football team. They like to play smash mouth football. They're going, like you alluded to, each week, every week, the teams are going to give us their best game. And this is not going to be any different.
Yep. Grady Darcy says Davis doesn't break 100 yards Saturday, and it will turn into a long day for Leary. 4 sacks, and Davis gets 70 yards. I hope that's the case.
I hope so. Our defense has a lot to work on to get to that.
Yep. Hunter Ivy says, when it comes to rushing defense, we have kept the running backs in check mostly. It's the QB running that has killed us. Yeah. And Auburn, Auburn, that's what they did best. They didn't run between the tackles, and that's what Kentucky does. They try to out physical you and run the ball right down your throat. Let's see. I'm not sure who posted this, but Richard Fields says Kentucky will bring their lunch pail. We better be ready. Yeah. They're going to be ready for the game. There's no doubt. The thing about Kentucky, and most people don't realize this, is they like to slow the game down. I mean, they took a whole quarter. I don't remember what game it was. Maybe it was a game that we went to back Jake Fromm's last year. I think they took almost 15 minutes to drive the field. They went 90 yards in like 13 minutes. And that was the longest drive I've ever seen. And so when I say all that, I say that to say that they slow the game down so that they run off clock. They don't want to put the ball back in our offensive hands, right? They want to keep the ball in their possession and keep control of the game. Another thing that, we've seen we were talking about the play of our team this year and how that it's kind of is different than it has been in the past. But overall, I think Kevin and I talked a little bit about that this weekend, is that college football is just weird right now. It seems like the level of play is down. And I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Matt? Why is it that we're not seeing those dominant teams out there? We see flashes, like we see USC go out there one week and just blow everybody out, and we saw Oregon, just curb stomp Colorado, but the week before that they struggled. Same thing with FSU. I mean, they got beat by Boston College. So what's the reasoning behind that? I mean, is it just that college football is down as a whole, or what is the issue?
I think we've scattered players out amongst the teams like we haven't had in the past. I think in the past we've had these dominant recruiting schools who have just been able to just get whoever they wanted, or the majority of who they wanted, and were able to dominate. Now with the transfer portal and the way of people to manipulate funds to players to get them to come to their schools, the talent is dispersed amongst these schools. So you're not seeing these ultra dominant programs anymore, which is maybe good for the college football in that sense because we're going to see even better play, and it may be a good thing because the future is the 12-game playoff, the 12-team playoff. So it sucks if forever we had the 14. I think the 14 was great because you usually only had maybe 4 or 5 really good teams every year anyway, so it made sense. And I'm more of an 8. But that's the whole long story anyway. But yeah, I think that's a good thing because 12, you're going to have maybe 10 solid good teams every year who you may have a 2 or 3 loss team in the playoffs. You may not say why 3 loss team, because it's going to depend on who you lose to and when you lose. And so you could have a 3 loss team in the playoff at 12 because it could definitely happen.
I asked you guys that question because they asked Kirby that same question in the press conference today, and I just wanted you to hear what his thoughts were.
Kirby, you said on Saturday that there's not a ton of separation in anybody in college football. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I haven't watched everybody, so that's hard for me to say. I just feel like there's a lot more parity out there, and I don't know why it is. I don't think anybody's as good as they were 3-4 years ago. I watched games of 3-4 years ago. I don't think high school football is as good as it was 3 or 4 years ago. I think less kids are playing football. The quality of the football that's played is a little less. There's at the grassroots level, the teaching of it. Less people played football that are coaching it. So when you struggle to find officials because people didn't play and they don't want to officiate and they have to rotate high school games because they don't have enough officials, and when you can't find coaches to coach youth organizations and they didn't play, the quality of the sport goes down a little bit. It deteriorates, and I've been able to see that. There's just less people playing too. So, but that's more saying that it's a sloppier game than it is a finesse game or a power game. That doesn't explain why there's more parity.
I just thought it was an interesting perspective. Interesting perspective. Well, guys, let's get into this thing. Let's talk about the pick'ems. All right, so we got to step our game up, Mr. Kevin, because Matt is catching up.
And it would have been better if you let me change that one game I asked to change. I would have the lead, but I didn't. I kept with my original thing, even though I was right. I kept with it, and I stayed with my integrity and still took the loss, even though I was right and they were going to win.
Hey man, you called it. You called it on the game on the show. Once you call it on the show, it's set in stone.
I'll remind you of that when you want to change the game.
Hey, I don't recall ever going back, even with my Georgia Tech picks.
That's true.
All right, let's get into this thing. LSU versus Missouri. What you got, Matt?
So let me start out like saying I picked these games for this week for one particular reason. So if those of my golf players know on Saturday's golf round is moving day, that's when people separate themselves from who are going to be the guys on Sunday in the final pairing and the guys who are going to be going home a little earlier that day. So this Saturday is one of those separation Saturdays. We're going to separate who are actually contenders for their conferences and who are not. And so that's kind of why I picked some of these games. So when you're looking at them, think about how much these games are going to impact how conference championships are going to look in a few weeks. That's the reason why I picked them. So right. I'm going to go. I know LSU, man. These guys, gosh, they're just like last year. They can't decide if they're going to be awesome or play defense, or they just can't. They can't figure it out. And so I'm not sure if that's just because finally the Brian Kelly that we thought was a clown is finally coming out, and the disorganization of what he does and his dancing with players and acting like a fool is finally going to come out. I don't think Missouri. I think Missouri's a tough team. I think they're very similar to Kentucky, that hard-nosed but I just not sold on Missouri's offense. They're much better offensive players, and LSU, I think they'll outscore them. So LSU is going to win this game.
Let's see. Grady Darcy, he says LSU 41, Missouri 24. John Akaki says LSU by 7, 38-31. I like it. I don't know what he means by two really QBs. Maybe he's talking about LSU. I don't know. Let's see. This is Richard Fields, LSU 42, Missouri 24. Kevin, what you say?
This is going to be one of those games. LSU is coming off of a hard loss by Ole Miss. They should have won that game without question. They just made some dumb mistakes, turnovers and things of that nature. Missouri is coming off of a win over Vanderbilt. They have not had a really challenging game thus far in the season. They haven't played anybody. LSU has been tested and tried in the fire with some good teams. I've got LSU winning this one 45-21.
I like it. I'm going to go with LSU too. I was going to say if it was going to be a night game, I might pick Missouri, but I think I'm going to go with LSU on this one as well.
I'm not lying. If LSU loses again, I'm never picking them again. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if they play the Blonde Academy. I'm picking the Blonde Academy. This is the last time I'm going to pick them.
All right, Alabama and A&M. Matt, go ahead, take this one.
Ooh, so we picked this one early in the season. This is one of my predictions when we got together and did our preseason picks. I just think Texas A&M, before they are what they are right now, with their incredible defense, this game is a close game the last 4 years. Even last year when Texas A&M was terrible, this game came down to a one play at the very end. And so these teams, for some reason, play each other really, really tough. And I've already called it back in August when we did our pre-stuff. I'm still sticking with my Texas A&M, which I can't stand that team, but I'm still sticking with them for the win because I want to see Bama go down.
I like it. Kevin, what you think, buddy?
Yeah, this is Alabama's coming off a win at Mississippi State, 40-17. Texas A&M just beat Arkansas, 34-21. This one, if it was being played at Alabama, I believe I would have to go with Alabama. But since it is played in College Station, I am going with Texas A&M in a close one, upset, and it could even go to an overtime situation. I've got Texas A&M 34-31.
I like it. Grady Darcy says Texas A&M 20, the Bama 17. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a close game. Definitely low scoring. I like that. I like that pick right there. Richard Fields, I think this is who this is. Says Bama 31, Texas A&M 24. Hunter Ivy says one team, Aggies always play tough. He says, give me the Aggies 24-17.
That they do.
And John Akaki says A&M by 13, 28-15. All right. Gosh, I don't know what to do, man. Alabama sure did look good last week. They looked a lot better last week. This was a game I thought A&M could win too, man. there's got to be somebody's got to pull an upset. I'm gonna go with A&M too. I hate it, but I don't hate it because I want Alabama to lose, but I'm not sure that they can pull it off in College Station. Let's see. Cole Daniel says ATM 34-26.
And honestly, if we're looking at it for the future sense, right, even for the conference stuff, we want Alabama to lose because honestly, I mean, Alabama may not be a great team, but they have a running quarterback, and we struggle with that. Let's just be honest. We struggle with that right now.
Yep.
And so we want to get them out of the call, get them out of the conversation with 2 losses and be done with it.
Yep.
All right. The Red River rivalry. Texas versus Oklahoma. Is this the first time? When is the last time 2 undefeated teams, Oklahoma and Texas, faced each other? I can't remember. I cannot remember.
2000s?
Maybe our resident whiz, John Akaki, he could pull something up and tell us when the last time that happened. I cannot remember that being the case. But in this particular situation, Oklahoma is not favored. Texas is favored by 6.5 points. So Matt, what's your predictions on this one?
Oh man, I think the nation has fallen in love with Texas, and they're not really talking about Oklahoma that much because they don't really believe them yet because last year was so terrible for them. I really don't know honestly to take because I haven't watched enough of these guys' games to really guess. And I mean, all thing we've seen from Texas is that Texas beat Alabama. So we saw that piece, but no one's really watching Oklahoma, not really seeing what they're going to do. And I wonder, can they handle that pressure of the national spotlight? Can Texas handle the pressure? I'm gonna go for the upset. I mean, I guess it is upset. I'm going for Oklahoma. I'm gonna hope maybe they show up. It may not happen, and maybe just get embarrassed like they have in the past. But I'm gonna go for them. Go for the Sooners.
Where is this game played? Does anybody know?
It's at the State Fair. They play at the State Fair every year.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's like 11 o'clock kickoff at the State Fair they have there.
All right, Hunter Ivy. I knew he'd come through for us. Last time Texas and Oklahoma played and both were undefeated was 2011.
I said early 2000.
All right. John Akaki says the Sooners by 4, 31-27. Cole says Texas 43-40. And Grady Darcy says Texas 48, Oklahoma 47.
That's tough.
And then I think this is Richard 48-38, Texas. All right, Kevin, what you think, buddy?
I've got this one in a super close one. This is like a match of evens, really, right here. Oklahoma's coming off of a 50-20 win over Iowa. Texas coming off of a 40-14 win over Kansas. I'm going to take Texas in this one, 38-36.
I like it. God, I don't know what to do on this one. I haven't watched either of these teams play. I've only watched Texas play one game, like Matt said, so I have no flipping clue of what to do. I should just flip a coin and just I guess I'm going to go Oklahoma. Just say Oklahoma's going to win it by 3 because Hunter Ivy just said Oklahoma by 3. So I'm going to go with Hunter Ivy.
That's right.
Oh, man.
All right. Moving on. Notre Dame and Louisville. For some reason, our resident game picker has he has had an affinity for Notre Dame here. It seems like there's a trend.
It's
There's
funny.
a trend.
I was actually thinking that Monday morning when I was driving to work. I was like, man, I've picked Notre Dame a lot this year in their games because they keep playing teams that are like undefeated. And so, I mean, they've played a lot of good for once in their career in the last 20 years. They're finally playing people worth the crap.
Yep.
You know, so and so this is another one. Like I said, it's separation. Is Louisville really going to be the team, up and coming team? Is really Notre Dame just topped out when they played Navy? So we're going to find out, right?
Yep.
I did not like how Notre Dame struggled last week against Duke. And don't get me wrong, Duke's not a terrible team. They're a pretty solid team too. But they just struggled with them. And once again, for for unluck, like the luckiness of these teams. Look at Irish, I guess it's real. To come out and beat Duke. I really think Notre Dame's going to win it again. I don't think that that Louisville has all the weapons to make it 4 quarters with them. I think that Notre Dame's going to go in there. I would love to see Notre Dame go down. 100%. I'm rooting against them in this game, but I think they'll win the game.
Kevin,
with my head.
Yep, this is a Notre Dame team that's coming off a win against Duke, 21-14, against a Louisville team that's coming off of a win against NC State, 13-10. This Notre Dame team has faced adversity, let's be real, way more than Louisville has. I think Notre Dame gets the win 28-17.
Yeah, I got to go with Notre Dame on this one. No doubt. No doubt. All right, let's see who we have here. Grady Darcy says Notre Dame 33. Oh, wow. He's picking Louisville to win that one by 5. Hunter Ivy says Notre Dame huge, 52-17. John Akaki says Johnny unites by 7, 31-24. And Richard says Irish 42, Cardinals 27. I like it. And our last game, because we got to hurry. UCLA. Okay, Cole Daniel says Notre Dame 30-17. That just popped up. Thank you, buddy. All right. Our last game, UCLA. Go for it, Matt. What you think?
I'm going to pick the upset. Look, I'm going UCLA the upset. I'm making short and simple.
I got it. Washington is ranked number 13. They're I think I've got that wrong. I think Washington's picked to win this by 3. I just put it in there wrong. What do you think, Kevin? No, it says UCLA by 3.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I had it right.
Well, they're not.
Yeah,
UCLA's not ranked, and Washington State is ranked. So
I don't know how they got that figured out, because Washington State is coming off a win against Oregon State, which Oregon State is a pretty decent football team. They had a knockdown drag out, 38-35. UCLA lost to Utah 14-7 in a close one. I've got Washington State big, 33-17.
I like it. I like it. All right, so John Akaki wanted us to know that Johnny Unitas was a quarterback at Louisville. All right, Cole says, whoops, I got the wrong thing. Grady Darcy says UCLA 52, Washington State 49. Hunter Ivy says Washington 35-13. Cole says he's with Kevin. Waiting on Hunter Ivy to tell me what his prediction is. Well, he just told me.
Of course, he's with Kevin.
Richard says Washington State 31-38. UCLA. I just don't see that Washington losing to UCLA. I really don't
either.
I'm gonna go Washington. John Akaki says Washington by 10. All right, guys, the game of the week. The game of the week. Kentucky versus the Dogs. What you say, Matt?
Man, I think it's gonna be a close game until the end of the fourth quarter again. I just think it's what it's gonna be. I'm picking the Dogs. I'm being real. I'm actually. What's the spread for this game? Do you know? I forgot what the spread is for this game.
15 points.
15 points. That's insane. That's a little surprising. But I'm still going 31-13. The Dogs. So they cover.
I like it. Kevin?
I don't know. This one's going to be a cold one. If you have looked at the weather, the temperature is going to drop this weekend. They're going to be playing in cold weather. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a great night game. I think it's going to be closer than what we think. I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag out. Another one of those SEC games. Kentucky comes in and gives us everything they have to try to knock off that number 1 team in the land. But I still have Georgia on top, 28-17.
I like it. Grady Darcy says 28-14. Richard says 34-17, Georgia. Well, I say that was Richard. I'm not really sure who that was because now I got two people posting that are not. Don't have us their name on here, so I'm not sure who that was. So it was Larry Purvis says Larry Purvis was the one that said 34-17. Richard says 38-24. John Akaki says 34-17, and we roll finally. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna go Dogs too. I just until they can prove to me that we can cover the spread, I'm not gonna say we're gonna cover the spread. I think we win by 14, but we're not going to cover that 15.
So you got a score then?
Let's go. Let's go. Oh Lord, I don't know. You put me on a spot. Let me do. Let's do 27-10, I guess.
I will say the last 4 years, Georgia and Kentucky have played tough, close games. I mean, every year is and even when they're not very good, we play a tough game against them for some reason. Maybe it's because we play same kind of smash mouth football, but we just have better athletes. So I don't know what it is, but this is going to I think Kevin's right. It's going to be a tough game. I just think it's going to be tough for 3 quarters. In fourth quarter, we're just eventually going to wear them down.
It was a close game last year. Go back and look at the score last year.
Yeah, but also last year was cold as crap too.
Yeah, all the talent that we had, and we had Stetson Bennett that nobody wants to give him credit for, and now all of a sudden this year they do. But anyway, it was a close game that year, so I expect nothing different this year.
Yeah, Hunter Ivey just said that. He said this game has been close for the last 4 years, regardless if it was home or away.
Yep.
Grady Darcy says, agree, same formula. Hey, I said 27-10. Put me down 27-14 on that because that means we don't cover the spread. All right, guys. Any final thoughts, Matt? Any final thoughts before we close this thing out, buddy?
I mean, I just want to go Dogs, man. I'm just ready for the weekend to happen. I'm ready for watching some football. I'm going on vacation. So if we lose, it's not my fault. I'm sorry. Because I'm not giving my TV, but you guys took vacation last weekend. It was closed, so I blame you guys. So you can blame me this week if it's close again. But no, I'm just ready to watch the guys play. I'm really ready for that W, like Kevin's pointing out, because it's coming. It's coming. I know this is going to be another one of those tough games. We talk about other teams. These other tough teams are getting battle tested. We need this battle testing because we have harder games to come. So let's just take it and learn from each and every game.
Yep. We want to improve each week. Kevin, final thoughts?
Enjoy these games, guys. These are tough, hard-nosed football games. This is old school SEC football if we've ever seen it. This is it. This is stepping back into the past, man, where you come and you just bang heads for 4 quarters and see who's got it at the end. And so far, Georgia has proved that they've got it. They've got what it takes to win these hard-fought games. Enjoy these games. Don't beat these guys up, man. Just enjoy it. We've got 2 natties. Go out and just soak this up.
Yep, totally agree. Well, let's close this thing out, right, guys? So we're taking this one between the hedges on Saturday night game. If you'd asked me last year if we'd had 3 night games this year, I would have told you you're crazy considering we got 0 last year. But another night game in Sanford Stadium. Our fans always give us an edge when we're between the hedges, and I know they're going to be loud, and I know they're going to be proud, and we're going to rub those lousy, stinking Wildcats in the turf and come back with a dub. Not Brian, Kevin, Matt. Little Georgia Dog Pound. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.